Hi everybody, here we are, a nice grey Sunday late morning in Moscow. So if you've been following my channel recently, and I hope you have, you'll notice that I've featured almost exclusively quartz watches for the past several months. I thought I'd put that right today and bring in some mechanical watches. In particular, I'm going to feature my latest acquisition, which will probably be the last one for a little while, for reasons I will go into later. So let's get on with it. You can pause this clip for a moment to look at the specs if you wish to do so, and you see the number there and some of the dimensions. It might save a little bit of time later. And I chose a model with the lovely matte black dial, as I think of it, and you've got the bezel. More about that in a little while. So it comes on a very nice black leather strap with a branded buckle, which is a nice touch. Something that I don't think Bolton used to do that, but they've obviously listened to people on the internet and they've included it, which I think is quite charming. And just by comparison, I've also brought out my Vostok Amphibious Scuba Dude, number 120656, and not just for the bezel, and I'll get into that in a little while, but we'll go into the bezels for these two watches. It's rather interesting, as I think. First of all, we'll look at the Bolton, because it's the newest thing, and the bezel is a bidirectional friction bezel, and it, come on David, focus man, and it goes that way and that way, and it, so you should have no problem lining it up. If you notice that the number at 3 o'clock is actually, see if I can get that in. Yeah, you might be able to see that it's actually 40. You can see the 15 at 9 o'clock. So this is 45, and we'll look at that. It's, I don't know whether it's, I can't remember if it's a countdown or a count up bezel. The Vostok's also a bidirectional friction bezel, but quite conventionally for a dive watch, it goes from here 15, 30 and 45. So I think most people know how these work, but let's be thorough. So going back to these bezels, you can see the Scuba Dude has a regular bezel setup going 12, 0, 15, 30 and 45. So if you wanted to time something, for example, so it's what, about 11:32. So if you wanted to, what I would do, I think they work both the same. If you wanted to time them at 45 minutes, you have to add on 32, 45, that's 77. So that would be, it's about 17 minutes past. So when the minute hand goes round and hits there, you see 45 minutes have elapsed. All right. Now the Bolton has the numbers backwards, so you've got, yeah, so what would you do for that? So the Bolton seems to have the numbers the wrong way around. Remember, this is not a dive watch, it's supposed to be a pilot's watch. So you've got the 45-minute marker at 15. So, alright, so the time now is something 38. That's 83, so you got, so right, what you do, so I can get this focused in properly, you know, so you'd actually move backwards, or when you move it backwards, no, you move it forwards to, no, you move it backwards, you silly sausage, or just move it to there, to 23 or so. So I don't know how much more convenient that is. So yeah, 38, so I think it goes to 22, yeah, 23. So you know that when the minute hand reaches a 45, that 45 minutes have elapsed. I'm sure, again, there's some smart person out there that can explain it to me. I actually watched a couple of reviews of this watch and with this bezel, and some of them were saying, oh, it's a countdown timer, no, it's a count up timer. So I don't know if anybody else knows out there. Anyway, I know I like it very much. Well, I was a bit mystified as to the shenanigans of the NH38 movement. So that you put it face, put it with its back on a flat surface, and it keeps rock solid time. Then you put it on for a little while, and it loses a bit. Now, I took this off on Friday afternoon, just kept it wound, and it seems to me it's actually gained a bit of time, but the time graph is telling a different story. As you can see, the amplitude's okay, and there's no beat error. So I think it might be we've got to see what happens when we change the angle. I've just got it dialed up at the moment. It's at the ideal 52-degree angle, and it's actually losing more time. The amplitude slipped a bit, and the beat error has increased slightly. So I'm not sure what that's about. Put it at a right angle, and it behaves very oddly. Now you've got minus 28 seconds a day, and it's not been doing anything like that badly. You can see that the amplitude has dropped still further, but then you've got, oh, now it's gone to 33 seconds, but no beat error, which is interesting, I suppose. With the dial down, it changes yet again. You've got the amplitude's okay, the beat error has increased, and it says minus 21 seconds a day. And then you have the beat, which is 21,600 beats per hour, or 3 hertz, which is standard for an NH38. I don't know really. It's come back up to 14 seconds, and 9 seconds. Yeah, it will. You've got to leave it for a bit to let it recover. So yeah, that's a bit closer to the truth, I think. So here's the one that caused all the trouble when it arrived in June, when it was dead, and then it wasn't, and it was gaining 9,000 seconds a day, and then I demagnetized it, and it improved to about minus 26 seconds a day, or thereabouts. As you can see now, with the dial up, it's losing 10 to 12 seconds a day. The amplitude's not bad, but you've got a rather large beat error, so it doesn't need to make a heck of a lot of difference. I mean, in real terms, I set and wound both of these watches on Wednesday, and I've just kept them wound since. So from the original setting, the dead duck has lost about 18 seconds, and the Bolton's actually gained about 3 or 4 seconds, which is quite strange. I don't know if the time graph is giving us an accurate picture. Weirdly enough, with the dial down, you can see there's a bit of a change. It's losing more time, but the amplitude's increased, and the beat error has gone down a little bit. You can see it's another 3 hertz watch. Both of these have NH38s. Now, you might say, well, it might be a funny batch of movements, or they're not sort of mounted properly in the cases, but bear in mind that these are 2 completely different companies and do things in different ways. So that's worth bearing in mind. See the Pagani at supposedly the optimum 52-degree angle, and it appears to be almost back where it was, losing 20-something seconds a day. Reasonable amplitude, but you see that's fluctuating, and so is the beat error. So you've got like slightly snowy lines on the time graph, but they're fairly regular. And now it's gone down to that. So I'm a bit surprised by the performance of both of these movements, but I won't say I'm disappointed in any way. Just for a quick wrist check, I'm wearing my other Boltony mechanical, which is like the 1926 Oyster type thing. And I'm going to slap this on the time grapher for a minute to show you how this one shapes up. You can see perhaps from the time grapher this is a high beat Miyota. It's a Miyota 9039 movement, and yeah, it's fluctuating a little bit. That could be the time grapher, but I wound this one and set it on Friday after I took off the new Boltony Pilot, and I was wearing it around the house on Friday and a bit yesterday too, and I've been wearing it since I got up today. So you can see it's hovering around -5 seconds a day on the dial up. But 0 beat error and good amplitude, which just shows you what you can get from a really good watch movement. I've got a lot of respect for Miyota movements, probably a bit more than I have for the Seiko mechanical movements, but this one is particularly good and I'm well pleased with it. Here it is with a dial at 90 degrees, and it's rather strange. It is fluctuating a little bit, but it doesn't work like that in real life. It consistently loses about 2 seconds per day, and it's been running for 2 days and it's lost 4 seconds like it's showing you now. But as I say, I've had this since about November 2022, and I'm very pleased with its performance. So here's the watch that the Boltony is homaging. So it's a Hamilton Khaki Aviation Pilot Pioneer, and on the official Hamilton watches website it retails for 950 Swiss francs. So that's what probably about £900 or something, and I paid for mine. I paid rather less. You can see that you'll see in a minute, it's very close. I don't know, copy and paste really, I suppose, but we'll see. So you can see it's pretty damn close. What you're not getting here is a display case back or a nice Swiss movement. However, as I say, I paid rather less. It's 900 something Swiss francs, which is £900. Yeah, I paid about £130 for this one. But again, you're just getting a Seiko movement and no display case back. However, yeah, Hamilton makes a big fuss of their display case back with a lovely, Hamilton H10 caliber movement, but they're a little bit reticent when it comes to the loom. Hamilton's loom has a reputation of being a bit wimpy. These two Boltonys, however, the Oyster 1926 is on the left. They're not very strong, but they give a nice initial burst of loom, as I hope you can see from this little clip. Well, other than the church bells in the background, you might be asking, well, why did I include the Vostok Amphibia Scuba Dude in this video, apart from make a comparison between this bezel and the bezel on the Boltony? Well, this watch I bought in January of 2020 here in Moscow at the Old Time Shop. So I've actually been indulging myself in the watch hobby for almost exactly 5 years now. As I say, this is the gateway to that addiction. It's still a very handsome watch. I didn't put it on the time grapher because that would be a bit unfair, because the movements are not the most accurate, but they're accurate enough for daily wear. You can see they've got amphibia on the case back and things like shockproof and 200 meters of water resistance. You'll hear people telling the story of Vostok amphibians much better than me. I remember at a time I paid the equivalent of about £35 in 2020 rubles. What was it? Something like about just over 3,500 rubles. But now, I think on the old-time catalogue, these are over 8,000 rubles. So they haven't doubled in price, quite, but they've gone up by over 60%. Because for various reasons, the international market for these things has shall we say, collapsed. But anyway, that's that, and I'll get back to you with the wrap-up in a minute. So, on the whole, I'm very pleased with this new Baltony. Why did I make the point earlier about having been doing this for about 5 years? Well, the fact is, I'm going to stop buying watches for the time being. Doesn't mean I'll stop making videos. I can do plenty of food related stuff, and I can revisit some of my existing collection from different angles. I suppose you call them kind of video essays or something. I think the next one I'm going to do, so it might be next week, it might not be next week, is I'm very late to the party, but I've considered making a state of the collection video, and we'll see how far we get with that. So I hope you all have a great week, and hopefully I'll be back with you soon. So watch out for me. Oh boy, I can't believe I did that. All right, take care everybody. Bye for now.